Well, from my point of view, luxury is going to be different, maybe, but coming here to this pristine forest within the national reserve, I think that's luxury. Nowadays, we've talked about it, biodiversity crisis, climate crisis, and we arrive to a place that it's full of life, full of wildlife, full of culture.
Every great travel journey begins with a question: where to next? And how do we protect what makes it beautiful? Welcome to the Conscious Check In, the podcast where sustainable hospitality, unforgettable travel, and bold conservation stories collide. I'm your host, Amy Wald, and this is your Conscious Check In. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Conscious Check-In, where we travel deeper and stay inspired. And you are in for a treat, as I'm in for a treat today, because we're heading deep into the Amazon rainforest with someone who's not just exploring it, but protecting it. Gabriela Orjuela leads the Delfin Amazon Cruises. This is a brand new sustainability department for cruises and the first cruise line to partner with the renowned Relais Châteaux. We're going to hear of how this coupling of a visionary hotel association and brand is now part of protecting one of the world, or it is the world's largest protected flooded forests on earth. Welcome, Gabriela. How are you today?
Hi, Amy. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to chat a little bit about this beautiful reserve and all the natural resources and the people that live here. So, thank you so much for having me.
Oh gosh, it's my pleasure. I am so excited to help our audience understand how, whether you are a hotelier, a conservationist, or just an inspired traveler, these are ways that you can travel still with luxury, but also know that you're protecting really biodiverse places that will keep our planet healthy for years to come. So, we're going to talk about the pink river dolphins,
Yes.
regenerative travel, and
Mhm.
really what it means to cruise with purpose. So let's jump right into it, Gabriela. You call yourself um, a passionate tropical biologist. And I'm sure that is an official title as far as biologist, but tropical because of where you are. Is that correct?
That's correct. And there's an association that puts gathered together all the tropical biologists of the world. And we were just recently in a meeting in Oaxaca, Mexico, where we were sharing what we're doing here at the FIAN. So it's a tropical world, the conservation work that we're doing here in Peru and in the Amazon.
So let's talk really quickly to set the scene. You are in Peru in one of UNESCO World Heritage Site, and one of the largest wetlands in the world. Is that right?
Yes, actually, this is a Ramsar site. This is the very, very large wetland. This is the largest natural reserve in Peru. It's called Pacaya Samiria National Reserve. And we have this is the setting, the perfect setting for birds to migrate. When they're migrating from the north, they come here to South America and they have, like, you can see hundreds of birds flying around in migration time.
Oh, wow. Okay, so what's one of your favorite birds that you get to see during those migration times?
Oh, well, that we saw the jabiru, a very, very large stork, like huge. Like
Ah,
if you've seen the blue heron, for example,
okay.
a lot of people are familiar with the blue heron. This is so, when they're flying together, the jabiru is just enormous with a huge beak, and it's just comparing like the big dad and the little
Oh,
son there next to each other. But it's amazing that what I saw a couple of weeks ago, that was amazing to see.
that we see them, especially here in the States where I am in Kiowa Island. We see one, maybe two, but I can't imagine how special it is to see a flock of them. Wow. Well, there's so many more things we're going to talk about in the world of animals. That's one of my favorite things, and I know it is yours as well. But let's back up a little bit and talk about your work with Delfin cruising. Sustainability has always been very important to them, but it's been a little bit behind the scenes. And now they're really bringing it front and center to the guest experience, bringing the guest on board. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, and actually, like I have to say that sustainability has been at the core of Delfin operations. Delfin is going to be 20 years next year. It's going to be a 20th anniversary, and before you wouldn't call it sustainability, but they were
Right.
already doing that. They were working with local communities, and actually, Lizzie, she's one of the owners. She's Peruvian, and she started working about 12 years ago with native communities here with the handcrafts, with the ladies that you're gonna see that this beautiful handcraft that they do, and she started working with them and promoting the handcraftship among other communities. Now you can see that in the region of this Pacaya Samiria reserve, several communities are doing and replicating that as an important source of income. So
Yeah.
women supporting their families within the communities, and that's very important to say because before it was just men, as you know, fishermen, they will work the land, the agriculture, and but with the handcrafts, ladies have the power here in the family.
Ah, that is so beautiful.
Mhm.
Okay, I want to mention one thing before I go into that. That is so interesting because instead of the opposite way, for instance, here in the United States, it's now there's a rush to adopt sustainability, not only because it's the right thing to do, but to attract that traveler. For you, it's almost like now you've always done it, but now you realize that you have to kind of change the way you talk about it.
Exactly. And we are doing, and we're taking steps also to add more impact. For example, we started a program, it's called BIOREST, which is called, it comes from biocultural restoration. You know, globally, we talk about reforestation a lot, and there's a lot of carbon, credits for companies and other things. But a lot of people and a lot of companies actually are planting trees, and they don't are looking into the species that they're planting, and there are hundreds if not millions of planted trees that they don't belong to the
Ah,
ecosystem that they're doing. So sometimes they want to do good, but sometimes it's a detriment to the environment. So what we're making sure we just signed. I'm so excited because this week we just signed three agreements with local communities that we have been working over a decade with them, and we are going to be doing implementing the biorest program, which is going to focus in restoring the forest with native species. But we are not going to be telling them what to plant because we're going to go back, and it was beautiful because we're going to be planting the plants that they need for medicine, to feed their families, to do their handcraftships, and also we're going to add conservation species that are endangered now. So I'm
oh
so
my
excited
gosh.
to start this. We are in the first cycle of the program, and they are coming together, and they do believe. We have elderly from the community. They say, "Can we plant this? We used to have this when I was a kid, and we don't have it anymore." So we're looking to not only restore the ecosystem but rescue the cultural knowledge that they have lost, like in some of the species. So we're excited to take those steps there, and also working together with the national. We're having conversation with the National Reserve as well and management to contribute at citizen science, collecting data to improve knowledge of what we have here around, and to help in the management plans. So we are very, very excited to go now or take different steps forward.
Congratulations. I feel like everything you say, I'm we could talk for days and days, but one thing that I took away from there is sustainability is so much more than the environment, right? There's such a social aspect to it. And for places like Peru, where it is a male dominated culture, this is such an important way to give women independence and freedom. And again, make sure that you're keeping those traditions alive. So, I just want to empower the listeners to remember that when we talk about sustainability, and the environment's a huge part of it, but it's also so much more than that as well.
Mhm.
And so, okay, this is so exciting because the other thing you mentioned there is making sure that you're planting native. You are so right. Here in the United States, there are a lot of tree planting schemes that are happening. And when I say scheme, that's not a bad word, right? It's
Mhm.
just the way to explain
Mhm.
certain programs.
Mhm.
But that is a great point. And I never thought about, are we making sure that the plantings that are happening globally are not only the right plants for the indigenous and the natives, but also bringing back that culture that people remember and they want to make sure that it lives on forever. That is incredibly important.
Mhm.
I'm going to
Exactly.
learn so much.
Yes. Yes. And just to go back there, it's rescuing the cultural heritage that has been lost.
Yes, yes.
Sometimes when you see development, or when the community see development, they might think, oh, okay, maybe eating pasta or rice or other products that they come from the big city, it's good. But they have very rich and very nutritional, high nutritional values in their own crops, and
Yes.
they don't have. So we're gonna be rescuing those components, and they are gonna be selecting the species that they want.
Ah, that's incredible. That reminds me of, so I spent a month in northern Sumatra studying ecotourism,
Hmm.
and it was such an eye opener to me. I already knew about the palm oil problem, but when you see firsthand how the monoculture, so planting single culture and taking over, the indigenous species that were there, it had depleted the rivers and things are hotter. They don't get the food that they used to get. So that is, yeah, incredibly, incredibly important. But
Yeah.
let's let everybody know this is actually a travel opportunity. You are sitting currently on which ship of all of the Delphine ships are you on?
So right now I am at the Delfin 3, Delfin
Okay.
3, and we are doing now we are doing an activity on one of the trails. So we have different activities throughout the day. You can do a 4 day 3 nights, or a 5 day 4 nights here within the reserve, and depending on the length of the travel of the trip, we either are in the Ucayali River or the Marañón River. Today
Okay.
we are in a program that it's a 4-3, so we are in the Marañón River, and today is the our last full day here,
Okay.
and we're gonna be visiting a native community, San Miguel community. So it's very excited. Yesterday, they went through small creeks. We're starting. So I'm going to be talking also about seasonality. We have
Yes.
rainy season, and when all the water, dry season, when all the water drops, and the landscape changes. You have flooded forests, and then
Incredible.
you have all these sand beaches along the way that give you
Oh,
opportunity to see different fauna like alligators, turtles, capybaras, and other fauna. Yeah.
capybara. I love capybaras. They're so cute, but they're
Yeah.
big. Most people don't realize they're big animals,
Yes,
right?
that's the
Yes.
largest rodent in the world. Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Um,
really huge. Yeah.
so there's three different ships,
Yeah.
right? And you can take different itineraries, and
Yeah.
you can tell that it's so beautiful in the background. But I want to make sure that the listeners know this is a luxury travel experience.
Yes.
But what I find very interesting on your website specifically is your definition of luxury travel, which I really wanted to read that because, of course, with the partnership with Relais Châteaux, you are going to, you're going to experience incredible food and quality bedding and those things that I think people really think about when they think about luxury. But you have a different way of, and now I can't find it, so we'll come back to that. But would you tell us in your own words, how do you describe this luxury experience? What makes it luxury to you?
Yes. Well, from my point of view, luxury is
Yes.
going to be different,
Yes.
maybe, but coming here to pristine forest within the national reserve, I think that's luxury.
Yes.
Nowadays, we've talked about it, biodiversity crisis, climate crisis, and we arrive to a place that it's full of life, full of wildlife, full of culture, and we are trying to preserve that. It's hard. I'm not going to say that. The
Yeah.
Amazon region is threatened, like other places in the world, but there's all this biodiversity nested within this area, and I think that's the richness, and also the culture. The culture is it's amazing and unique, and like we say, this is woven by nature, right? The
Yes.
experience. If you see the thatch, like the ceiling of this lounge area that we have on the third floor, it's all handmade from palms. The diversity of palms, it's amazing, and each palm has different use. And you see these palms, they are weaved weaved
Woven.
wo-
Woven. Hmm.
and put together all beautifully, and this is what they use in their houses. And one of the things in the project is also to rescue, because I was saying Western culture might bring other tools to their community, like other type of roofs, but we're trying to share the importance of keeping these durable thatch roofs in their homes, right? So it's a combination of bringing here in the vessel in our
Hmm.
Delfin is bringing that natural organic experience that we live outside. Here it's AC. We have air conditioning. It's the perfect setting. You are outside. If you want to walk outside, it's really nice, breezy, and it's hot as well. We're in the tropical rainforest. But when you come in, step in into the vessel, is just, I think, perfection.
You explained that perfectly. And I might add one more thing, which is
Mhm.
being this close to this special ecosystem, such as on a river where you have a completely different perspective than if you were just on land. That to me is complete luxury. And that's probably, you were saying that too, but I don't think people realize, a lot of people consider cruise ships, these big cruise ships, as cruising, but really being able to be up close and personal in these places that you couldn't get to by foot, right? You wouldn't even be able to get to. So, and we're going to talk a little bit more later about what that relay at Chateaux, how that coupling and that partnership has really just enhanced your offering. But let's talk about animals. Let's talk about some of the species that you are doing citizen science about. And
Mhm.
I think it's just so important for people to understand that yes, we have to protect nature, but we really have to be deliberate about not only the way we travel, but when we can't just think, oh, we're blanketing and we're protecting everything. We have to be very deliberate about the way we protect it and
Mhm.
that we maintain species because that helps the food chain. It helps our ecosystems in balance. So tell us about all the animals that you're working with right now.
Okay, so I have to talk about the pink dolphin
Of course.
first, right? Our namesake, and and it's amazing. We have a pink dolphin species here surrounding all this area, and we also have another. We have two species of dolphins actually. We have the gray dolphin and the pink dolphin. And
Okay.
with the pink dolphin, it's been almost 7 years that we started working with Dr. Joanna Alfaro. She's a Peruvian researcher, and she had this question about, for example, how far does the dolphins that the pink dolphin travels from Pacaya Samiria Reserve to other areas? We didn't know that. She didn't know as a researcher. So we brought her in and partnered with her, Delfin Amazon Cruises, and helped get, the GPS gear to put into the dolphins and track this amazing species to understand how long will they travel. So after she's coming up at the end of the year or maybe next year, with a paper with the manuscript telling all about it. But I'm just gonna tell you that she found out. She just told us she found out that the dolphins they don't go. We were thinking maybe they're going to Manaus, to Atlantic traveling, but actually they stay here in the reserve. And you're gonna see when you go out in the excursions in the skiffs. On the skiffs, you're gonna see lots of fishes. Now that the water is coming down, you
Yes.
see literally the fishes jumping out of the water, and you see one of our excursions last week. One of the fish jumped into the boat
Oh
actually.
my gosh.
And you see at that resort, you see all the birds feeding and the dolphins feeding. So they don't need to go move away to look for resources, feeding resources. They stay here in the reserves. So the next
Oh,
question, and we asked Joanna, we said, Joanna, and do we know those if those dolphins stayed here are the same ones that we see? So the next step in citizen science is that we call community science, because we're going to be working with our guests and we're working with local communities as well. We're going to be taking pictures from here, from Delphin vessels, and we're going to be identifying the species with through photography. So that's what we're doing now. We're developing. Dr. Alfaro, she's going to be here in October, and we're going to be launching our program. And we're very excited to know more about these species that we don't know. We really don't know if they're the same individuals that are
sure.
around the vessel. Yeah.
And they're a keystone species, correct?
Yes. So keystone species, they're gonna be keeping their in the top. They're predators, right? Like we have jaguars in the land. We have here in the river. They are top predators. So
And
uh,
so that's what that means for the audience maybe that doesn't understand what a keystone species is. What does that mean?
it's maintaining the equilibrium. They are key to maintain the equilibrium in an ecosystem.
Okay.
So yes, that's basically their role. And like we are gonna see other species. For example, yesterday they saw the giant river otters in one of the excursions. And we're so excited. That's the largest otter in the world, about 2 meters or about 6 feet long.
Okay.
And
Wow.
they saw a group of them. They have they're matri. I'm happy also they are matriarchal group.
Matriarchal. Yes, that's a hard word.
Yeah, they're led by a female giant otter, and usually they now that the lower season is starting, their dens are kind of exposed. So we saw last week one of the dens that we found, and they cross the river. They get through the forest, through channels, yeah, creeks, and things like that.
Oh,
It's the only species that are carnivorous, and it's the only species that can get alligators as well. We call
no
caimans.
way.
Yes.
So,
So they
so that is, because the otters we have in the States are, gosh, 3 feet. 3 feet would be a really big otter.
no,
6 foot otters.
these are large. These are large, and they were in Spanish we call lobos de río, like wolves, and they
Lobos
would attack
Rio.
lobos de río, yeah, and they
Lobos,
move
I'm
in
gonna
an
have to
attack
practice that one.
in a family group. So when they attack a caiman, for example, they go from the belly up, and
No
they can get him, yeah, if they feel
That's
threatened.
incredible. Okay.
Mostly they fish on piranhas and small
Okay.
catfish and other fish around that there's plenty. But if they feel threatened, they will
Threatened.
attack a caiman. Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
Yes.
Um, So birds and otters and of course the pink dolphins, and not to leave out the gray.
Mhm. The
What other
monkey.
and monkeys?
My we were talking about this a little bit
Yes.
before, and you were saying, what kind of do you have a spirit animal? And I have, yes, monkeys. I used to study monkeys before, feeding ecology, and here I'm like amazed. And we have found this. We when we visit the communities, we see the smallest monkey of the world in the world. Is the pygmy marmoset. It's about this size. It's you can put it in the pocket, and it's an amazing species that we're working also with. They are threatened by activity, human activity, deforestation, and the populations are going down. So they have been classified as a vulnerable species by the
I
IUCN.
see.
So yeah, we're working with them as well and the communities. Yes.
And so, Gabriella, would that be an example of wildlife trafficking, a decline in their numbers because of that?
Yes, we know, and it's well known that wildlife trafficking is is one of the major threats after two other, uh, um, drugs and weapons. It's the third a major threat in the world, worldwide, and the Amazon is also vulnerable to that. So we
Yes.
have to, and having quote, a cute animal that you can
Yeah,
smuggle in
very easily.
very easily. It's a major threat. So primates are vulnerable for that, and also there's another thing for bushmeat hunting as well. So
Yes. Yes.
thank God we are in the reserve. Thank God we're working together with the National Reserve, and we are collaborating with data. So that's why it's very important, because they have a management plan and they need to know where the animals are. Our vessels, they go deep inside the reserve. So sometimes because of budgetary issues, sometimes our nationals from the National Park Service, they cannot get as far as we can do that. So we are collaborating.
Ah,
So
wow. So that almost
when
gives you a level of almost like police, that you can,
we're collaborating in they call it a different it's not policing, but
yeah.
we can gosh, the word just slipped on my mind, but
Okay.
yeah, we're collaborating with they say a word. I met with them last week, and we're excited
Okay.
to join forces on that. So we're reporting. We're going to be reporting
Reporting.
incidents and things like that.
Ah,
So
yes. Okay.
if they have skiff boats or security, we can, if we see environmental damage in some way, we can denounce and call them and let them know what's going on where.
Oh, that's great.
Yes.
So, what kind of recommendation and advice would you give to travelers as they are traveling? And maybe it's not only Peru, other places. As we said, this is the one of the largest threats to ecosystems worldwide. What are
Well,
those things
mhm.
that you should be looking for to make sure that you're not, because you know probably a lot of the listeners or travelers think, oh well gosh, I'm never going to take anything out of the forest, but you'd be surprised at
Mhm.
souvenirs you can buy and different things that you come across that you could participate in and not realize that you are contributing to those kind of things.
Yes, Amy, exactly. So, being a conscious traveler, there are some actions that you can take. For example, you have said perfectly, like souvenirs is the first thing that you have to see if they have feathers, for example, macaw feathers, for
Mm,
example, is one thing. If they have part of animals, it's another thing, or bones from animals. Never ever buy those things.
yes.
That encourages the local people, um, their culture. They're, remember, I don't know if you know, but they are hunters as well. So native
Yes.
communities, they are allowed to hunt here within the reserve because that's
Sure.
consumption. The problem comes when it becomes not for consumption but to sell, like, right? So they are going to be demanda, if there's more people asking for that, they're going to
Yes.
hunt more. right?
So if there's demand, right?
Demand, yeah. If there's
Yeah.
more demand, unfortunately, they will go to the forest and get more. So when you
Yes.
are traveling, just be aware of that. Not do not buy handcrafts with animal parts and things like that.
Yes.
With other woven things, they are amazing, knowing how to sustainably harvest from the forest. Um, Most of them. Some of them they need help, and that's what we're helping now. Some of them they are running out of resources, even vegetable resources like plant resources, and we are helping them, and we're going to be starting restoring that forest with them. So as a tourist, just recommending, be aware and do not buy even insects. For example, butterfly displays, sometimes they sell those frames in
Ah,
the market. You might, some of the tourists might go into the city or other markets. If you see butterflies, also most likely that they have caught it, they have been caught it in a while, so
yes.
you don't want to contribute that demand for those parts.
And
Hmm.
it's almost similar to here in the States, you go to a beach resort and there's big, beautiful shells.
Yes.
And of course, they're gorgeous. But when you continue one day, what if we have no shells left because everyone wanted them in their home? So
Yeah.
it's like you have to try, and it's hard for me too, but to try to refrain from buying those things because again, then people that you're creating that demand for it. And so people want to go in and continue to sell them. So we have to
Hmm.
try to promote a different way of things
Hmm.
these days.
Hmm.
So, Gabriella, if you were to first step on board the ship, right, from a traveler's eyes, what are, what's the first thing that really stands out to you, or do guests talk about a lot, or just takes your breath away?
I think the design of the shape, I think I love it. From outside, it's a natural element, so it blends in with nature. And when you come inside like this, and you can see it up in the back, it's like you are in a thatch a house in the middle of
Hmm.
the rainforest, and that's the feeling. I think that's I
The
think
pictures are stunning.
Yes, I don't know if I can move a little bit. There's a lot of light outside because
Yes.
of the river, but you can see all the. This is the lounge room, and the design also. If you see that is the iconographic from the native community also, but of the region actually, and it's all blended in into the our vessels designs. Yes, I
Ah,
think that's the most thing that you step in and you feel like that's a mix of luxury, but also the feeling that you have is like you are within one of the native communities.
I love that. That's
Mhm.
beautiful. I had not heard of Delphine before, and now it is on my bucket list, and soon I want to
You
experience
have
it
to
so
come,
much. And
definitely.
Relais Chateaux has been one of my favorite brands of hotels since I was very little. It really honestly has inspired my company. So
Mhm.
I'd love to talk about what enhancement that brought, what you really had to do from an operation standpoint to be a part of their group, and how just that partnership has come together.
Yes, no, it has come together beautifully, I believe. Um, they have these 12 commandments of sustainability. No,
Yes.
that's our motto. We are following Relais Châteaux sustainability model, and as I mentioned before, we in the core we have that. We didn't label it as sustainability, but it was easy to blend in with the spirit of Relais Châteaux. Because, for example, gastronomy is very strong. Like I'm so
Mhm.
happy to share with our guests here. They love every single dish that they have, and it's regional and it's made out of local ingredients. Um, and they are not only beautifully presented, but our chefs they do a wonderful job including those ingredients from the
Mm.
local communities that mostly they have it here. and into the dishes. So that's a whole experience, and Relais and Chateaux has that also very, very in the core, including all these ingredients in their locals. That impacts their lives because they will receive an income also for that. No, they have to
Ah.
be seasonal. No, seasonal and local. So we go with that.
And what's one of your favorite dishes that is one of those seasonal or local that you love that guests get to experience?
So last night we have this. It's called pitina potato, which is a root of an
Okay.
aroid. You most of the people might have know this plant aroids that they have as house plants in the states.
Okay.
They are a native. Some of the species are native to this area of the Amazon. So they take the root um, and they make like a potato soup, and they serve it in a Brazil nut. Nut actually Brazil,
Ah.
hollow, and it was a beautiful setting.
Oh, so
You have
beautiful.
to see. I'm going to send you pictures of that, and
Okay.
that I think that was amazing because everybody, is this a potato soup or potato cream? And it was not a potato cream. It was like a regional root that is grown in the houses. Now that I'm walking and talking with the communities with different families, and I'm asking a lot about the plants, and they show me, oh, this is the plant, and it's amazing. They have it in their orchards now. So,
Yes. Oh, I love that.
so that's one of the things. And also in this area, there's a lot of aguaje. And the aguaje is also a palm. It's a fruit of a palm, the aguaje
Okay.
palm, and it has a very particular flavor. And it's also have medicinal properties and a lot of hormones for women, and they love it here locally. They know that it's good for like for menopause, but it's also extremely
Okay.
extremely delicious like ice cream. So when it's really hot, we have those ice creams here, and we it's part of our show and tell afternoon when we have all the different tropical fruits from the Amazon. So
Ugh,
that's another one. Yes.
true
And there's
authentic experience.
and there's another one that I just thought about. I should mention is the macambo. Macambo is the relative of the cacao. So cacao is here is
Oh,
very big. Communities they have it, but for the people that don't know, chocolate comes from the cacao fruit, right? It's the seed, right? Inside of the seed, we have the nibs, the cocoa nibs, and from the cocoa nibs when you process, you're going to have chocolate. But here
okay.
in the Amazon, they eat it as a fruit. So you open a husk
Ah.
of the cocoa pot, you open it, and those seeds, before they have this white, delicious aril, which is juicy and sweet. So you see the kids eating that. That's their chocolate. Natural, unprocessed chocolate.
Oh,
They eat.
wow.
So we have incorporated that also in some of the dishes. Uh,
I didn't know that.
but that's the cacao. So there's
Okay.
another one which is called the macambo, which is the same genus, different species, and we eat the seeds. We eat the fried, not fried, roasted seeds of macambo.
Okay.
Delicious. You
Okay.
can put that in different salads or other things, soups. So
Amazing.
you're going to be experiencing new flavors,
Yes.
different fish from the Amazon, from here, and there's a lot of diversity of fishes around, and you get to taste many of them.
So take us through a day on the ship as a guest. What does a day look like for a traveler?
Okay, let me think. Yesterday, like for example, 6 a.m. you wake up to take advantage of the beautiful sunrise moment. You can have coffee at 5:30, and then we go into the skiff to explore some of the creeks around. We're looking for birds or animals that are waking up as well, and they're moving around. We see a lot of squirrel monkeys, for example, at the time of the day,
Ah,
and then we come back here by 7:30 to have breakfast. We
okay.
have breakfast here, and then you get ready for another activity. This could be like, for example, today the group is going to walk in the low season. Also, we go for a walk to different trails.
Okay.
And you go for a walk. Today they're at the Casual trail. When you get to see the forest, you get to walk around. We see a large ficus tree, beautiful strangled fig tree. It's amazing there. And then also there's some locals from that community. Uh, uh, I, I, I don't know if you if I have mentioned it, but there's a lot of ribereños, which is people that live around at the edge of the river. So at
Okay.
Pascual, there's a group of people that they will show their handcraft shifts, like in they use the palm trunks to make trays, really beautiful trays, and
Oh,
it's amazing. It looks like wood, but it's a palm. Uh,
okay.
Anyway, so they come back here and they refresh for a while, and then we have a talk. We Today we're going to be talking about people of the Amazon, for example,
Oh,
and you have different talks about the reserve. We have talks about wildlife, different species, things like that. So they will have the talk about the people of the Amazon, and then they will rest for 30 minutes, and then lunch is ready. So we'll have lunch, and then they will rest for another 30 minutes, and then off we go to another community to visit a community. And today it's a special day because San Miguel. Community, they have their anniversary, like the celebration, and we one of the groups knew that, and we always let know our travelers that they can bring the if they want to bring something, they can bring things for the kids, like for the school, like pencils, colors,
oh
color
yes.
pencils, and other things to help them. No, we don't encourage to bring sweets, for example, or candy.
Sure.
But yes, pencils, erasers, things for school, book. I know we know that notebooks are too might be too heavy, but clothing that you also don't use if you have kids and they're changing, they grow so fast that you have extra clothing to give away. That will be great. So we're doing that today. We have a couple of boxes for them and things for the school, and then I think we come back here. That will be 6 o'clock in the afternoon, and they rest, and then we will let them know what's going on tomorrow in a presentation, and we do a recap also of the animals that we've seen, and then 7 o'clock, at 7:30 we have dinner, and then 8:30, after 8:30 we have depending on the day and the itinerary, we can have an outing. For example, last night, no, the night before was at 9 p.m. We go for a night outing out there, excursion to see not only caimans around, but
Oh,
what I love to see, the fishing bats. This is amazing. This is species that they
oh,
go, and because we have the reflectors looking for the caimans, you see the bats just coming and swifting like,
skimming.
yeah, hunting. It's amazing. And also stargazing is beautifully, like if you live in the northern hemisphere and you come down, you see the Southern Cross and other constellations that you don't see up north. So it's just amazing, and we like to turn off the lights and just be quiet, and there and you see all the sounds of the forest. I think that makes
Incredible.
my perfect day, and it will tuck you in for a beautiful night to
So it's
rest.
a very active, it's an active, trip
Yeah.
or vacation or holiday,
Yes,
right?
as active as you want. If you want to stay and have a relax, we have a pool here also.
Okay.
So we have beautiful pool, and we have a spa inside. So someone was having a reflexology this morning.
Ah,
Your feet or a massage, or there's a small gym also if you want to do some exercise, or if you can read here at the lounge with nice music. There's some activities. A family here, they're doing a 1,000 puzzle. So every time there's a resting time, they come here and they're building the puzzle. And so there's plenty of things for you to do here. Either if you want to relax one afternoon, you can stay and go to the pool and have a really good drink, savored drink here. So yeah.
so where would a guest fly into to then? get on the cruise?
Pardon, I didn't catch the first part.
Where do they fly to? And
Oh,
what's the destination that then you pick up the cruise at?
yes. So you will fly to come into Peru. You will fly into Lima
Okay.
airport, and then you take the flight here to Iquitos, and we will pick you up at the Iquitos airport, and we have then 1 hour and 45 minutes drive to our lunch area in Nauta. In Nauta, we will take the vessel, and then we start the trip. So if
Okay.
you are in LA or Miami, Atlanta, New York, you have a direct flight to Lima, and then
Oh,
yes, and then you come here. See,
so okay, so we've talked a lot about, right, the conservation angle and sustainability. Um, let's talk a little bit, for the hotelier, regardless of where you are in the world. We know that there are places further ahead than others, and a lot of that is because you have no choice, right? In a place like the Amazon, you are seeing firsthand the destruction of what keeps that place intact and alive. And so you there feel like you have no choice. But in other places, such as the United States, we don't necessarily always see it firsthand. And so sustainability, conservation doesn't always become the first priority. So, what would you talk? How would you tell a hotel that maybe isn't in an area like that, doesn't feel that they're at risk? Um, how could they adopt more of a conservation mindset, or what advice would you give them as a biologist to start thinking about these things?
yes, I would say like if you're far from home, like if you're far from one of these natural places like the Amazon, like we are right now, you're at home, but you can be a conscious traveler and a conscious consumer. Like for hoteliers, also think about water consumption, energy consumption. For example, you can have friendlier ways to save those elements. Um, um, you can have educational material in your hotel, for example,
Mhm.
explaining maybe how many gallons of water you are saving as a guest if you don't change your and this is that's a classic, right? I think now
Yes.
most of the people are doing that. That's a basic one, right?
Yes.
We're not we are, if we are not changing your linens every day, we are taking so many liters of water, right? We can do a similar thing with energy, right? Changing things, for example, we know, like for example, hair dryers, they have a lot of they consume a lot of energy, for example. Also, when you're about to travel, maybe think about what is the impact that your travel is going to make in within the local community. And I know you have mentioned to focus on what they can do at home in a development country, for example, in the States. I will say also gastronomy is very important, local and seasonal. I think
Yes.
that is, that's easy to do because there's so many beautiful farmer markets that you can contribute to, and give works also. It's a source of work and income for local families.
And
Um,
the food tastes better.
Pardon me.
The food tastes better when it's
Oh,
local and seasonal,
sure,
right? Versus
sure.
a tomato that was shipped to you from across the country, or
Yes,
yes.
and you want to reduce your carbon footprint. And every single activity within the hotelier experience, you are producing or leaving a trace. So, what you want to do as sustainable hotelier is reduce that trace, reduce the impact. Whether you are using biodegradable products, for example, your shampoo, your soap, right? Either if you are at the kitchen or yes, at the kitchen, for example, what are you using to wash all the dishes, for example?
Mhm.
Where is that water going, right? What energy, how much energy are you using to produce your food? That's another thing. Where are you buying your are you buying or consuming too much meat? You can modify your menu. Like for example, we have taken off cow meat from the menu because it's number one reforestation destruction of the Amazon. Is the number one driver of Amazon destruction, right? Deforestation. So where are you located? You have to think about how much meat are we consuming. Sometimes they bring meat from the Amazon, from Brazil, maybe that they have these large um, livestock areas, and maybe you're consuming that. So making sure you know where your resources are coming, right?
That's such a great tip because I was going to ask you. So, for someone in the United States or wherever they are in the world to say, well, nothing I do personally could affect somewhere that far away. And that's such a great example is where are the things you're consuming coming from, right? And
Yes.
how are the practices that, as a consumer, even not even as business,
Uh-huh.
affecting different places in the world?
Exactly, and you certified. Even if you're buying notebooks for like now, school season is starting, or in the hotel, if you're gonna print, FSC certified products. I mean, they're
Yes.
also doing the certification for wood, so you know where the wood is coming.
Yep.
A lot of wooden timber species from the Amazon has been depleted because of the demand in developing countries. So we have to look for those certifications, and I think nowadays more and more furniture stores they can show you where the wood is coming from.
Yep. And I always say, of course, budgets are an issue for everyone. Everyone has a budget,
Hmm.
but you get what you pay for most of the time, right? So, and doing your research is good.
Yeah.
Okay, so what would you say to a traveler that's coming to Peru? What is one thing that you absolutely can't forget to bring with you when you are coming to travel?
Well, if you're coming to this sunny place in the Amazon, bring a nice hat, a hat with a nice rim, or a cap
Okay.
if you like caps. Perfect. Your sunglasses,
Yes, of
uh,
course.
your sunblock, and insect repellent. I think with for and your water bottle. We always, we give you a water bottle so you can refill, and no plastic
Sure.
bottles are used here. So I think you will be ready to go. And for shoes, trekking shoes, and your long pant, and dry fit t-shirts,
Okay.
things like that. You'll be ready for an excursion with that.
Those are staples, definitely.
Yes.
So, all right, let's start to wrap up. But I'd love to know what are some of the things that the guests say about the experiences. Maybe it was something that they learned while they were there, or just an overall feeling of now they feel like they are contributing in a positive way. Are there any like comments that have really stood out?
Yes, definitely. It stands out mostly is the community experience when they visit the communities and native communities and see how they create all these beautiful
Oh, yeah.
handcrafts. That stands out. Also, you know what? Our guides, they are so knowledgeable. All our guides are local, and they are. When I was talking to them, we have a meeting, and we were talking about, and I asked them, where do you come from? We have a huge map, and they were each of them, they come from different regions around the Iquitos area, and they bring all their knowledge, right? So I think they do a fantastic job, and our guests, they love them. They love all the stories, the storytelling, and how they share personal experiences. So that's another thing. And of course, what I mentioned before, the gastronomy. Everybody's like, oh my God, this is new, this is awesome. The fish, everything fresh. So that will be it.
And it's funny, I wrote something down from the website and it said, our captains find the deepest waters, our guides reveal the unseen. We listen, we respond, we preserve, and when you sail with us, so do you. I think that's so special. And it just really wraps up what they can expect.
Yeah.
Just complete being immersed in a new place and learning and seeing how they can contribute in a positive way.
Exactly.
So,
Yes.
Gabriella, any last thoughts or anything that you want to make sure that we mention and we leave the audience with?
Oh, come and visit. I mean,
Come
we
and
will
visit.
wait for you with open arms, and the communities are so happy and so blessed. Like whether they share so much culture, and they are the impact that your travel um, uh, does to their lives is significant. So that's why we want to to grow more, to have more impact in more families and the rainforest.
So, finish this sentence for me.
Yes,
Sustainable tourism matters because.
it makes life make Amazonian life uh, forever. I mean, it's extending Amazonian life.
That's a big deal, right?
Yes, it's for me.
Because it's not just an aspect of life, it is life
It's
in
life.
general.
I
It's
cannot
life.
separate. I cannot separate the life. The dwellers are humans and also wildlife.
Yep.
Animal, plants, everything, and everything goes together beautifully in a good balance. So that's the balance that we want to see.
Well, I am inspired by everything you are doing. I cannot wait to come visit you on a cruise. I am so excited. And I just can't wait to see all the incredible work that you, Delphine, and Relais Châteaux will continue to do together. Thank you so much for spending your morning with me.
I love it. I love it, Amy, and thank you so much for having me. And anytime, and we are waiting for you. Just let us know.
Yes. Wonderful. Well, everyone, this has been your Conscious Check In. Don't forget to like and subscribe so we can continue to bring you these conversations. We'll see you on the next one. That was your Conscious Check In. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and let us know who you'd love to hear from next. Until next time, travel deeper and stay inspired.